Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony Navarra, and I'm here with another book review for you. Uh, I am a sales trainer, a sales manager, an author. More importantly, I'm a salesperson because I think sales is the most honorable profession there is. And I want everybody to be able to participate in this because it is just an awesome way to be. The book today is called The Meta Pattern by Sarah Carson and Sean Carson, published in 2014. It's going to be a short review today because this book takes one idea and it gives you multiple perspectives. And when I first read the book, that annoyed the heck out of me. I'm like, okay, here's the 4 steps, which I'm going to get into here in a few moments. Here's the 4 steps, but then it goes, well, here's how you use it this way. Here's how you use it that way. And then I realized, I can be really stupid about certain things. I can hear something. It's like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. But then how do I apply it in my life? Well, this book has an example of how it can be applied in many different contexts, including the sales context. The pages I would most recommend are pages 48 to 49. Give you everything you need to know right there. Also, with the examples, the sales one is chapter 14, which starts on page 146. Between those 48 and 49, which shows you the process, and then the chapter on business, it's going to give you everything you need to know about the meta pattern. Now, when I first saw that, the title meta pattern, I thought NLP, and it says NLP on here, but they have a slightly different take on it. And let me go over that with you right now. They want you to associate the customer into the context of the problem. I'm going to go over these 4, and then I'm going to go explain them just a little bit. Then they want you to disassociate the prospect from the problem. Then you want to associate into a resource, and then you want to collapse the problem context with the resourceful context. Well, let me explain some of that because there's a lot of NLP speak in there, and it might not be that understandable to most people. When they talk about associating into the context of the problem, what they're talking about is getting the person to really feel the problem, feel the pain. Something that salespeople do naturally. It's like, oh, well, how's that feel when X happens? Or how's that feel when Y doesn't happen? Or you foreground and enhance the pain point for the customer. So instead of just being like, oh, I don't have a problem. Well, here's the problem. How does that feel? And they begin to feel that problem, and they understand it. But you don't want to keep them there. And that's where you want to disassociate them from the problem. And you may say something, well, what would somebody else say about that problem? Or what would it look like if the problem were solved? So you take away the sting of the immediate sting of the problem, because you don't want them mired in the problem state. You're setting up the 3rd stage, which is where you're associating into a resource. That could be as simple as saying, well, you haven't always had that problem. What was it like before? Or you haven't always been had a short attention span. What was it like before when you had a longer attention span? So you're having them think back to a time where they had the resources to overcome whatever this current problem is. Your house wasn't always cold. What was it like when it wasn't? What did you do? How did that work? How did that feel? So now you're associating them into a condition where the problem has been solved in the past, okay? Which means if you've done it before, you can do it again. And now we're going to get to the fourth stage, which is collapsing the problem state with the resource state or the solution state. You take that problem and say, well, what if you did X about that problem? What if you used that resource in the past, solved your problem, and now you had a glorious new future ahead of you? So that is the four-step process. They go over it in depth in this book. You want to know how to use it in a therapeutic context, it's in here. You want to use it in a sales context. You want to use it in a parenting context. You want to use it in a hypnotic context. It's all here. I do recommend this book, The Meta Pattern by Carson and Carson. It is a helpful book. It's a little thick on the NLP terminology, and you can probably read it in just a couple of hours because you can pick out the parts that you need and leave the rest behind. But it's a good book to add another tool to your tool set. Now, if you want some other tools to your tool set, I recommend my book, Tony Navarro's book, The Killer Sales Solution. And this is a book that has many, many resources for you on how you can, prepare to present and to close the sale. Highly recommend it as well. All right, folks, go out there, make a sale. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.